booties for black girl nerds.
And I had the pleasure of seeing you at the Comic-Con panel. I loved it because I wasn't as familiar with Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Starting with you, Diamond, were you familiar with the project and what were your first thoughts when you saw it kind of come across your email?
I wasn't familiar with the project, but when I saw it come across my email, I read the script and I was like, oh wow, this would be Marvel's like making history moment.
Mhm.
Marvel's first African American teenage girl superhero. So, but I went through an ordinary auditioning process, just praying and hoping that I get it. I auditioned like 3 or 4 times, and then I got the call that I got it. And ever since then, it's been a whirlwind. I'm super happy to be a part of a project like this.
Well, it's very inspiring, and I see your little devil dinosaur there, the little plushie. It's very cute. How about you, Fred? Were you familiar with the show, and what were your thoughts when it came across your desk?
Yeah, I was a little familiar with it, and I was very familiar with Devil Dinosaur, really. So I didn't know Moon Girl as much as I knew as who Devil was as I played Hulk. Hulk has a lot of backgrounds with a big back history with Devil, and so I knew a lot about that, but not quite what this show was about and how this was going to play out. Didn't know the comic books per se until later, and so I just was blown away. Yeah, it came across my desk. It was something that they presented to me, said, because I'm known for doing animals. I'm one of the folks that do creatures, a lot of, scary things. And they wanted to see if I could do something that was bring in the dinosaur elements, but can we bring in something that's softer, that's
Right.
going in the direction of, the nice Scooby dog, but not Scooby, but sort of in there, and then we had to like piece it out and figure it out. And we found a happy medium. So it'd be, and what's great is I'll get a line like says, "We've got to save Casey from, the alligators." I would say, now I'm spelling it out, but then I'd shorten it down to, we would short it down to maybe 3 or 4, and then just, that would be something. Or if it was, they wanted a softer side of him too. So it was like, and how he feels about her, so these are things that we'd have to draw out. And we do, that's been a really fun experiment.
Well, I love that it is animated, but it's also very animated. There's a lot of personality that you give the devil and that Diamond you give to our main character. Talk about recording the theme song. It's so fun and so catchy. Tell us about that.
Well, once Disney found out that I could sing, they were like, "Ooh, we got to get her on the theme song." I was like, "Yes, indeed, I will. That sounds fun." But there are so many songs in this show, like so many. Raphael Sadiq is the executive producer of all of the music. So he really does a great job at making sure the music is really, really good. Not only good, but a little bit complicated for me because there'll be notes all over the place. And I'm just like, how does he expect me to do this? But yeah, it's been really fun doing the whole like singing thing for this show. And I honestly wouldn't have it any other way. I love singing on this show.
I'm glad you mentioned about the notes kind of being all over the place. There's something so fresh about it. There's something so modern and so new, but it's obviously catchy. And so I went on the YouTube and all the comments are like, this is a banger. It's it. And I'm like, I love it.
Yes, we love to see it. We love to see it.
That's great.
Well, so kind of closing out, I want just a little teaser for season two. What do we have, or for season one, excuse me. We're gonna get that season two though. But what do we have to look forward to from Devil Fred?
The growing relationship between him and Lunella and Casey, and him getting through his understanding of what family is. He
Mhm.
doesn't have a family, but he made his own. She took him on. She gave him a home, and so it's not just her dog; it's her family. and she learned his language. So it's going to learn about all family dynamics we're exploring. And then later on, maybe something we'll see about his backstory and all that. But mainly right now, it's about the relationships.
Awesome. How about you, Diamond? What do we have to look forward to from Lunella?
Honestly, it takes you on a wild ride. Not only is she protecting the Lower East Side against these villains, but there's some really heartfelt episodes about her going through what it's like to be a 13-year-old Black girl, and that's important.
Here Today, Gone Tomorrow got me. So I cannot wait till people see that episode. It's so good. Thank you guys so much for taking a little time to talk with me about the show. Congrats. And I can't wait for more people to see it. It's truly a fun time.
Thank you
so much. Great talking with you.
I am so happy to be speaking with both of you guys. This show is so fun. It's so darling, but it's also powerful. There's something very, very cool in it. Starting with you, Libe, did you know about Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur beforehand? And what were your feelings when it kind of came in your email that, hey, this is available? Do you want to go out for it?
I didn't know about Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. I saw my agents attach the Deadline article in the email, and I was like, oh, this is a cool show. There's no way they want me for this. And so I auditioned and got it, and then I or when I knew that I was getting a call back, I went to the comic book store and I picked up 4 Moon Girls and I read all of them, and I was like, where's Casey? She's not in this. And then I went there and I was like, yeah, I read a bunch of them and I couldn't find Casey anywhere. And they're like, no, she's a character that we're adding and she's gonna be part of the story and everything. And I was like, exciting. I get to be the original of this. And yeah.
Stacey, I'm just the opposite. I knew everything. I knew about moons. I knew about girls, devils, and dinosaurs. I knew it all. You couldn't tell me. No, I knew nothing either.
I was going to say, when you saw Pops, were you like, oh, it's going to be nothing, but then you see it and you're like, oh my goodness.
No, it was like, first of all, my agents are great and they never send me anything that's just okay. So I was like, oh, let's check out this. And I read it. I was like, oh, and I do remember telling my agent, oh, this looks fun. And I'm the kind of person who doesn't pay attention like Libe did. Oh, there's a Deadline article. Oh, Fishburne's attached to it. I don't pay attention to Jack. I literally go straight to the script and start reading. Oh yeah, this is fun. Yeah, this is a good one. Yeah, let's do that. So audition, and then only after the fact that I realized who was involved. I didn't even initially know it was Marvel. I was just like, oh, this is good. I see a voice in here that I like. I see a connection to it, and that was all I knew. And then didn't even see any of the video until New York Comic-Con, and I was like, oh my! I was 100% blown away when I saw the video. This is what we look and sound like. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because it's as a Black actor, an actor of color trying to get into Marvel.
I'm sorry, a blackter.
Yes. It's either this or you have to get real cut and get into Black Panther. So I'm glad this was your gateway.
I didn't have the cutness to get into Black Panther, so.
Exactly. So tell me so what I love about this is it's effortlessly diverse. And the diversity is the point, but it's also beside the point. This is a story of a young girl who does happen to be Black and her best friend who happens to be Latina, but it's also that, and it's a side that we don't get to see that much. What does playing Casey mean to you, Libe?
It means so much. I'm if I love every time I get to speak Spanish in it. I love every time that, because I'm and the fact that Casey is someone who speaks Spanish and she's cool and has a superhero that she's that's her best friend and she's managing and stuff. If I had gotten to see that as a little girl, that would have been a game changer, I think sometimes Latinas have a complicated relationship to speaking Spanish in, the world. growing up, and I know I did, and I think that like something like this is so important. Like, let's see like the cool girl Latina speak Spanish and like have it be a cool thing. And I feel very lucky that I get to voice her and be a part of that.
I love Casey because she's like, I'm your new best friend and also your manager, and we're gonna make you famous. So it's gonna be great. And I absolutely adore her.
That character makes things happen, and that's what I
Yeah.
love about it. Like, you got Moon Girl who has all this power, but Casey, honestly, it's a team. Like, she makes things happen. It's very cool. Cool
She
dynamic.
gets the job done. And then, of
Yeah.
course, for support, we have Pops and we have
Yeah.
all of her family, which is such a great supportive device, but they also take time to lead her. What is that like for you, Gary, to play in that role?
It's fantastic. As I was telling Libe earlier, it's like I just get to be my dad right now, you know. I grew up and kind of in this, like the women have the power in this series, and I grew up in a family of 6 sisters and 2 brothers. We were greatly outnumbered, and probably the best thing that could ever happen in a man's life is to be outnumbered with women.
There you
So
go.
it's great. I get to do what I saw my dad do. It's just lend your voice carefully and timely, and be respectful, and keep the family together. So you get to do that, you know, on a big scale where other kids can go, I like that guy. He not only supports his granddaughter, he is the hugest fan of his granddaughter, not just as a superhero, but just as a human being, because he doesn't even know she's a superhero. So fantastic. I get to play the guy I want to be when I'm that age.
There you go. And you know, that's a while off, so you don't have to worry about that now.
I know. Look, I'm 20. I'm less than I'm 14.
There we go. Oh, wow. Well, thank you guys so much for taking time to talk with me about this wonderful show. I cannot wait for more people to see it. And I wish you all the best. It's going to be amazing.
Thank you, Stacey. Appreciate it.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerves.